Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, and today I'm going to make a fun project. I think it's fun, out of paint chips and these large strips from Tim Holtz Collage Strips, large grande is what they're called, large grand. I was looking for my smaller ones and I couldn't find them, so we're just going to go with this. And I really haven't used these much, but I really love like little parts of them. So what I decided to do was combine the two, and this is what I came up with. So fun, tall strips. They could be belly bands, adding onto side tucks, little ephemera, little tchotchkes, little focal points, whatever. But what I did first was I did sand this, and I'm going to show you how I did that. I did get the idea to sand the paint chips from Kathleen Maurer. She did that from, I mean, I know she sanded the paint chips and then added stuff to it, but I can't say that I recall her using like these Tim Holtz things. So I'm combining her idea of the sanding the paint chips and me wanting to use these up to make these. So what I also decided to do then after that was to maybe add some to some cards or something. Now these strips are too tall for belly bands, these paint strips. I think they're like 9 inches if I recall correctly. Yeah, they are 9 inches tall. So what I've done in the past is like just cut off one strip to make a belly band when I'm using them. But I was thinking about maybe adding it to like, I've got a whole packet of pre-printed digitals that are on thicker cardstock that I've got that I intended to make for journal cards. And some of them I've rounded already, some of them I haven't, but they're in there and they're pretty thick to start with. This is actually, I think, an actual Tim Holtz item, but this was printed on cardstock and cut out, and so was that. So what I was thinking about doing was adding this one as like a belly band or a side tuck right here. I'm thinking maybe I'll cut it here and then put these two on one of those. So that is my thought for it. So yeah, I'm gonna show you how I made the full bone strip here. But then I'm just kind of showing you an idea what you can do once you make these strips is to cut them down smaller and go from there. Yeah, I like that. So for now, I think I'm gonna make this like a little belly band that you could tuck something into. So I'm gonna glue top and the bottom of this. And in the end, I could add something extra to the top of it. Add something over here. Oops, don't slide. All right, let that dry for a second. And then I just pulled out some random ones that I was thinking might match color-wise. And that could definitely be fun on there. Oh, I think I like that one. That one, not as much of a fan. It's going to be that one or this one. All right, I think I like that one, and I would have to add some sort of ticket or flower, maybe some bigger flower behind it. This I actually could probably leave by itself. But you know what? I don't think I'm going to add this and glue it down because I need to find something extra for it, and I have not really pulled anything extra out for it. So I don't want to necessarily create something without pulling something out. So, but what's fun about these is now I have this sitting around to be able to add to something. But this one I would say is done. And if I had like this would go in there as a belly band with something on there. If I had this one on there, right? Cute. We can call that one done, and we're going to call these, just hold on to use them at a separate point and or just collecting some tidbits. Okay, so let me show you how I did these. Put my glue away first for a second because we're going to have to cut these out. All right, so I just have all these random ones in here, and you can see where, like, I got smaller ones because they got cut out. I think in the end, I mean, these might eventually end up all being cut out. I really like that color, and that pink's fun. All right, so let's just pull a random. I like the darker one. Nope, I think I like the lighter one. Yep, let's go with that. All right, now I know not many people are so lucky to have this. I'm not even sure where I got it. I think my husband got it years ago when he was an art director. And this thing is, I think I tried to find a date on it. I'm thinking it's from like the 1980s. So it's been around for a while, let's just say that. Okay, so what I did on them is I just cut them down. But I know you can just grab a couple paint strips from your local hardware store. Don't go and, you know, take all of them, but, you know, grab some colors you think you might like. I know there's different size chips. There's fatter ones and shorter ones, etc. If you want to take what you want to add to it with to see how you want, you can, you know, adjust it any size. I also had these, what I was thinking I could possibly add them for. This is a bucket of digitals that are just all random colors. They were what's left over from when I was doing my rainbow journal series last year. So I pulled those out, but I don't think I'm going to use them. I think I want to stick with the Tim Holtz things. Okay, so I'm going to take this out, and I have a sanding block. You can see it has some green on it from the last one I did. And I just took a sanding block and I went and sanded it. It does make a dusty mess. All right, and I have a baby wipe that's not really wet at all. It's pretty well dry. It has just a bit of moisture left because I didn't want to really get this to be curled or anything. All right, so after I did it, I saw where it was still dark and went back. Now you don't have to I didn't find that I had to get rid of all of the words that are printed on there, but if you did, it gave a nice sanding effect on that point. Okay, so I'm going to I'm going to also sand the edge of this just to roughen it up a little bit. All right. All right, well, I don't have the same chip, but I just want to put that one next to it. There's a bit more of a shine to it. And the shine is pretty well gone after you've done and sanded it. Make it a little bit more rustic. You could sand it as much or as little as you want, because in the end you really only see a little bit of what's there. Okay, now I am going to, in the end, probably, like I said, cut it down into strips, but I'm going to start with trying to figure out the whole thing. Now, one thing I found out is, or one thing I wanted to do is I wanted to, excuse me, I wanted to make sure that the chips were smaller than this, so it left a little bit of the color shining through. So, like, I could never use this person. I'd have to put them on, like, 2 of them, so it's not going to work very well. But I do like that flower one. So I just went through and randomly picked ones that I liked. And what's fun about this is you can mix and match. You have like that, and even ones that are a little bit bigger, like this might be a little too big, so that's a little too tall. So all I did was go through and cut a little bit more off, just to let it show through. All right, so we're gonna mix and match. And this is the one I picked out originally that I really want. And I think I'm going to keep that hold tight a while part of it. See, what's nice, like I said, you can mix and match these instead of just using the one from the one color. You can use different ones All right, I like this one down here, but I think I'm going to end up having to cut this down a little bit. I think it's too tall. It's just a hair too tall. All right, I'm going to cut a little bit off the top. See if that's the right size now. I'm just going to cut here off the bottom. Yeah, I like that. So it's kind of fun to do these because you really just get to, you know, pick and choose and have some fun, put different themes on it. I mean, he did a really good job of, you know, he's got words and pictures and backgrounds, but you can kind of, like I said, go even farther and mix and match them a little bit more. All right, I do think I want something that is, these butterflies are cool. I know they're going to be too big right off the bat, so I think I'm going to just cut the butterfly off right there. And I still could use that part for something eventually if I wanted to. All right, I got 2 flowers, 2 words, 1 butterfly. I need 2 more. I want something solid-ish. So I think I'm going to try to go with this one. And I also was trying to not necessarily match up the colors, like those are darker with the darker ones, putting the darker ones on the lighter ones and the lighter ones on the darker ones. That makes sense. Okay, we need 1 more right there. And this alphabet one would be fun. And I think maybe just these 2 rows. Yep, okay. All right, I think I'll put that on the top and that there. Spread the letters out a little bit. Letters, solids, floral, map, butterfly words. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so now we're gonna just tip it over so I know which way it goes. And I am going to use my art glitter glue to glue these down, just because this Tim Holtz stuff is a little bit thicker. Okay, now these, like I think I mentioned, they're wider than my paint strips, so I have to figure out like if I want to like cut that part off, or do I want to keep that part, maybe cut that, or just somewhere down the middle before I glue it. And I think I'm gonna not glue that side down. All right, we're gonna do our best. Now, if it overhangs both sides, we can trim it down, not a problem. Now this one, I definitely think I'm gonna put it that way. So we're gonna hold that side and glue this side. And I'm trying to kind of do my best too to center it on the color if I can. All right, I'm going to try to center New York completely. I might have to end up cutting the beginning of the N and the K a little bit when I trim this, but I think it will be pretty close to totally readable. All right, flowers, I can keep more of the I think I'm actually going to center it. I still want to keep enough green on there so it's not just pink. So I think I'm going to center this one. And I mentioned earlier that there are some smaller Tim Holtz strips. I don't know which one the name. I know I have them somewhere. I looked for them. They might actually have fit better on these. I don't remember how wide they were, so I think I just center this one. Or if you don't have these strips, like I said, you can just take, it would be a great bust to scrap, because you can take any sort of scraps, cut them down to a specific size, and put them on there. All right, we're just gonna put it on one side here, just so I only have to cut one. And this one's gonna have to be centered so I can keep the saying there. But yeah, you could definitely bust a scrap with this for sure. All right, just trying to center center the words best I can while I hold tight a while. Okay. All right, so you can see that they are overhanging. Now, I guess if you really want it, if you don't mind that look, you could probably keep it. Be kind of fun just to have some random stuff. But I'm going to trim it down. Options. I like to make options. All right, just use my little scissors and do my best to trim it down. All right, here we go. So cute, right? I love it. And I'm just gonna put a little ink on the edges just to get rid of that side look of the white chip, of the white paint chip. So cute. So I have these two that could definitely be used as postcards or journal cards. And I'm just gonna round those edges and see if I like them on there. I could definitely do the same thing I did on that first one I made, this one, to make like a little belly band. And I think I like that one, so I'm gonna, yeah, I don't want that one on there. I'm gonna save that for something else. I think I'm gonna cut it just like I did last one, where I leave two by itself and go from there. Now, just because you make them, you don't have to find a place for them right away. For sure, I could keep them as full long strips and then keep them on the side for when I'm looking for some little accent piece to add. All right, I'm just gonna move it off a little so I can see that, whoa, that person's name from the postcard. Still see the stamp. Just inking the edge again for the whiteness of the and again, I don't think I'm going to add it. I'm going to save that for something else. Yeah, but I like that. And again, it could easily go onto a journal page and be glued itself so that you have a second place to tuck something, or it could definitely be just as a journal card where you tuck it into something else, or glued, you know, this down as another, you know, belly band. We have one there and one there. So again, options. I love it. Yeah, I kind of wish this was this way. Could have decorate that a little bit, put something on there, but it is, I don't necessarily have to keep these two together, but I do like it. Okay. All right, let's make one more. These are fun. And I want a blue, a yellow, what a yellow? Yellow and blue? Most of my yellows have a greenish tint to them. I have yellows back here. I mean, not that it totally matters, but I think I'm gonna go with that one, or That one. That one's got some fun neutral colors on it. I'm going to go with that one. All right. Oh, this one has one less color. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure what the difference was, why they had some that were less. Who knows? They just probably had some mixtures. These are all called HC 7 through 12. They probably didn't have a 6 or a 13 that matched and decided to go with that. Okay, so let us go ahead and sand these. Yeah, I like it. I really like how that looks with being sanded like that. It looks much less like a paint chip strip and much more like a actual ephemera piece. So once again, thanks to Kathleen Maurer for doing that. Well, right off the bat, I see this handmade department, and I think that is a winner chicken dinner. All right, if you're still hanging out, don't forget to click like on the video if you found some fun stuff that you could do. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I like that beehive one. Let's go with that one. A lot of these are all the same tone, so I don't think I have to put the lighter and darkers on there like I was doing. So I want to do what, yellow and blue? Is that what my thoughts were? That bird's pretty. Got some greenish yellow on there. I hope you're all having a wonderful week. It is definitely warmed up around here. My husband took the cover off the pool today. I should say I helped him. All right, let's take that one. So I was outside sweating for a while. All right, I got birds, beehives, words, neutral. I think I need something that's more flowery. Would be kind of fun. There's just so many cute ones on here, you know? I got words. I might hold on to that one or something. That's probably part of a cigar box, would be my guess. All right, let's check some of these underneath here that are kind of hiding. Yellow roses would be pretty. That I would have to cut probably too much off. I really like those butterflies, but I would probably end up chopping them up too much too. Not that I'm totally opposed to it. I've done it before. That would have been good, but butterflies I have already. A dog, he's cute. All right, I think I'm gonna go with, oh, those numbers are fun. Oh, so many choices. or the bookmark. All right, or the library book. All right, library book and flowers. Let's see how that looks. I think I'm just going to separate this one because there's numbers and numbers. And I think I'll turn that this way because there's a big thing there, big thing there. Numbers on that side. This on that side and that on the bottom. Yep, I like it. Okay, let's go with that. All right, just try to tip it so I remember which way it goes. All right, our glitter glue. All right, we'll just center that. I'm definitely going to put it to one side. I only have to cut one side then. This one, I think I'm actually going to move it where that gets cut off a little because there's a little bit more color there. Instead of doing that. Yeah, I think, oh, you know what? I think I'll center it. Keep a little bit of the color and a little bit of the words. Not totally dismiss the two. Okay. All right, definitely keeping the beehive. All right, am I gonna keep all the numbers? Yep, keep all the numbers. Love it. All right, so this one is gonna go, we're gonna get rid of more of that white side. Now, I might end up at some point in my 50 ways to bust a scrap, end up making the same collection with scraps. I think this would be fun. So leave a comment below if you would like to see that version. Make sure it's over enough. Whoops. And good. Okay, birdies. All right, I'm going to keep the number and cut off the flowers a little. All right. Well, this has definitely been fun. I probably could keep making this all afternoon. And as I was doing that, I noticed how this side was a little bit more sanded, and it could be fun to sand that down like we did, and then just put scraps in the center so that the sanded edges were seen. So that would be something that I could do if I make these in the just bust a scrap mode. All right, let's take the tiny scissors so I have a little more control. All right. Oh, I love it. So cute. Just ink the edge a little bit. Now this one being, it was 6 strips, it could definitely be a belly band on a full sheet. Or again, you could just put, you know, half of something on a card, have 2 pieces, split in half. I like it. Yeah, I like it a lot. Well, I definitely have some more that I could make if I wanted to for that. If I still haven't used them all up. I think this might have actually been, I don't know if this was one package, or it seemed to me that I might have put, well, I had some extras and maybe put 2 together. I don't know. It seems like I have an awful lot here. But definitely have some pieces here. Some shorter ones. There we go. Yeah, and then I got the extra couple that we made. There we go. Piece of one with that, and piece of one with that. 2 much fun. I really did like this. All right, well, that is going to be it for me today. Again, if you like the video, a thumbs up would be really helpful. It gets the people to see that it's a good idea, and it helps share the channel, and it really does help a lot. So if you're following anybody and you like to see their content, just give that little thumbs up. It definitely helps. It's amazing what a little free thing like that can do for a small channel. Okay, that's going to be it for me today. As usual, I appreciate each and every one of you that stop by. And as I always say, I hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye for now.